One of the hallmarks of preparing for the Easter Triduum is preparing adults to come into the faith. And we've been very blessed to have one who will be baptised, Kayla, and there will be 3 adults who will be received into the church. And together with Kayla, all of them will be confirmed and will then receive First Holy Communion. It's been quite interesting what's happened over the last 12 months right across Sydney. We were meeting the other day as Sydney clergy. And one of the interesting things about COVID is that even though we were isolated and we weren't able to gather, a lot of people started to consider their faith. People who were not of any faith started to consider what life is really about. And the journey of Holy Week helps us to remind ourselves what it's all about. We are on this journey of faith with Jesus Christ. We hear the story of the Passion which we had read today. And the story of the Passion is a story that each of us can identify with. Whether it's identifying with Jesus, whether it's identifying with some of the different characters. We can understand that suffering that happens in our life is not isolated. Jesus has suffered. You look at Mary, who's there on the way to the cross, and Mary as a mother sees her son suffer. The journey throughout Holy Week, and this today begins the holiest of weeks on our calendar, is an opportunity for each of us to renew our own faith, our own commitment to Jesus Christ. I find it inspiring, and hopefully you're inspired as well, to see adults, not just little children, but adults who are choosing, in the midst of everything that's going on in the world, to want to believe. They want to belong to this community. And that's because they've experienced Jesus Christ, they've heard the words of Jesus Christ, but they've also found a community that's the love of Jesus Christ. And that's present in each and every one of us. We're called during this week to recommit to believing, to recommit to walking in the way of Jesus, to being that community of love, and then sharing that with our world. Do what you can this year to participate in as many of the services throughout this week. From Tuesday until Sunday, we'll have services at 8 a.m. every morning. There will be different things on certain days. So Tuesday and Wednesday, there will be Mass at 8 a.m. Thursday, there'll be morning prayer. Friday, there'll be Stations of the Cross. Saturday will be the 7 Sorrows of Mary. And then Sunday, we'll have the Mass of Easter Sunday, next Sunday. We'll also have throughout the evenings different activities. On Tuesday evening will be a penance service, an opportunity for reconciliation and for private prayer. Second rite of reconciliation on Tuesday evening. On Thursday evening, we will begin our Holy Triduum, 3 days liturgy to celebrate Christ's, at the Last Supper, Christ's death and Christ's resurrection. That will be at 7:30, we'll begin on Holy Thursday. There will then opportunities to pray up until about 11 o'clock at the altar of repose, the Garden of Gethsemane, a place where Jesus went after the Last Supper. On Good Friday, as I've already said, there will be Stations of the Cross, a traditional format at 8 a.m. And I encourage you to come at 8 a.m. if you can on Good Friday. There will be also Stations of the Cross at 10 a.m. We are limited to 400 in the church, which at most of our masses I don't have a huge concern about. However, at the Stations of the Cross at 10 a.m, it'll be animated by students from OLMC, and we're expecting a number of families. So if you're sort of not really that committed to coming at 10 a.m. for Stations of the Cross, I encourage you to come at 8 a.m. at Stations of the Cross on Good Friday. There will be the service of the Lord's Passion at 3 p.m. on Good Friday, and the Easter Vigil will be at 7:30 p.m. There'll be no 5 p.m. Mass next week. The Easter Vigil begins in darkness. We begin outside with a fire, process into the church with candles, and we sit in darkness as we hear some of the Old Testament readings. We will then have the baptism, the confirmations, the renewal of baptismal promises of our community at the Easter Vigil. This is a holy week. It is a great week. For the Jewish people 2,000 years ago, more than 1 million people would descend upon the city of Jerusalem to enter into the Jewish Passover. At the very same time that the Jewish people celebrate Passover, we celebrate our Easter. We celebrate the death and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Make this week a holy week. Journey with Jesus, journey with the new Christians who are joining our church to renew your faith, to renew your belief, to renew your service, and to renew this community as the love of God who proclaims Christ's death and proclaims Christ's resurrection.